What's up, everybody? FSC Trucking. Well, I guess today's the day we're going to figure out how much money we're spending and what exactly is going on. Orwell has problems. Imagine that. Actually, Orwell's been really good. It really hasn't really needed a whole heck of a lot in the last 4 years since I first put them together and started running them. But sadly, it's been what I thought was originally a water leak turned out to be it's starting to push water out the radiator overflow tube, which oftentimes is a bad head gasket caused by fill in the blank. Maybe not a bad head gasket, cracked head, sunken liner, who knows. What happens with them is this thing about your pistons go up and down constantly, and your liner, if it's loose in there, will rattle a little bit, and it'll bang a hole in your block. That's why you oftentimes gotta, when you rebuild the engines, gotta cut the block and add shims to raise up the liner to make them right and tight. That way they don't rattle around up and down. Either way, that's the basics of why that crap happens, but we have no idea what's happening. It's also possible that the air compressor is simply shoving compressed air into the cooling system, not the engine putting combustion in there. So we've got to figure that out. It's been using about 2 gallons of coolant a day, maybe a little bit more. Every morning I would add coolant to it after I would run all day, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, put coolant in it. But it's dead of winter, and last week it was getting like literally down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, so there was no just adding water to it. If it was summer, you just keep dumping water in it, whatever. Dump water in it, it'll push it out, put more in it, it's all good to go, won't hurt nothing. This temperature, you have to put coolant, and that's $20 to $25 per gallon to do it. So that's too much. Chris is filling it back up with straight water because now we're gonna start diagnosing it. Ultimately, we're gonna try to bring them outside. It actually warmed up, it's supposed to be in the 40s today, believe it or not. It's late February, so it's gonna start getting warmed up nice. We're gonna pull it outside, give her a quick wash, because I think it's gonna be in here a little while. For right now, we're just basically gonna start the process, because I have to start it anyway to get it outside, of figuring out what went wrong and why. It took one whole one already? Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe it was more than 2 gallons.
Well, it's not gonna take much more.
We already dragged the overflow tube out. This was just straight behind the cross member, so we pulled it out because this is part of how we're going to determine what's going wrong with this truck.
$3 gallons.
Well, it's definitely full now. Using ye old antifreeze bucket. That actually used to be my grandfather John Feschak's back when he had a shop. It leaks water, but it's good enough for what we're doing with it.
Why is everything here old? Including me.
I'm not getting any younger either, brother. Got old, not as old, just as old, and really old. And probably soon even older than that. Before the last load we took out, I did replace the radiator cap. A lot of people have suggested that. I was like, the amount of water it's leaking, I doubt it was the cap, but for the price of one and I was already at Peterbilt, we gave it a try. Didn't do crap. You wonder how smoky it gets with these things running inside. That just started. It went from nothing to a lot. Quick.
Where's the temperature at?
It'd be bone cold still.
It's just starting to come up, so didn't take any heat to make it do that.
No.
But bleed the air off and eliminate, let the pressure build up, see if that stops.
If in other words, if the compressor's building up air, if it's also putting air in the coolant system. You see what happens once it pops off. So once that unloader hits that purge, if it's a compressor, that should stop.
In theory, yeah. Plus it's really bad. There's a chemical you can get to put on there and it'll tell you when you turn different colors.
Wow, that changed fast. He's shaking the bottle now.
I want it to get hot though.
Like we're over here. All right, the compressor's popped. Or the air dryer, I should say.
The unloader kicks out and that sends a signal to the dryer. Didn't change anything.
Nope.
That looks yellow.
A little bit.
Again, we want to let it get hot though. Close to operating temperature we can and then insert it.
Yeah.
So just let it go for a little while. The water is turning yellow. That tells me it's combustion. Or rust in the system, which I don't think there is any. You had it all apart 2 years ago.
Well, it's got the pink coolant in it. That's all I've been putting in it.
Yeah.
That's what's yellow, not pink though.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but that's combustion.
And it was fast too.
Yeah. There's not going to be
Within 3 minutes of starting the truck.
There's not going to be any shortcuts here.
No.
I don't think. It's getting more yellow.
Oh, look at that, big time. FSC, the white label, versus the yellow.
This is very basic diagnostic. You don't need a lot of big equipment. How'd you do it back in the 70s or 60s? This is how you did it. Even at the dealership, this is what we did, you know?
Well, I had a feeling I wasn't going to get off cheap on this one. Whatever.
I'm sure you see it now when I was
Yeah. Now that head's a reman from Cat. Ground now. I just hope to see something definitive. I hate to sit there, you know, you put it together and you hope and pray.
Yeah, when you pull the hell out of this, it's pretty obvious.
There she goes. That's an idle. Every time you start, remember I told you, take off, smell cool. Hey, curiosity, bring the RPM up. You can hit it with your foot, bring it up pretty good. That's an expensive water habit right there.
Now you're going to get your money's worth for hiring me. I'm just heating, I'm not cutting.
Last words. mentioned when he talked about them tires, he wanted them balanced. Tom's can do that. And that's what's on the phone, getting the price for him. Just text him about it.
Exhaust fell off up here.
Saw that. This wasn't hooked on very well then, was it?
The clamp went down all the way. I gotta take the clamp off in there.
Oh. Well, pretty sure we have enough clamps. I bought a case. Should we get another flex, or you think that's still good?
I would if it was mine.
Well, that's all we'll do. Like I don't have to go get. Not like I don't have to go to Green Bay.
I wanted to take it apart here, so that's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because, so I wanted an IDOD muffler.
Yeah, they don't make them though. That was.
So I think I'm gonna cut the pipe off, pull that pipe out, cut it off, weld it in the muffler.
See, here's what he's talking about. This mini muffler, it's really a resonator. You see straight through it. It'll just tone it down a little. They only make it, the pipe goes inside. Inlet, outlet. It'd be nice if this one had the ID on, right, the ID goes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be nice if it had the ID in.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
This needs to be OD to slide into that one.
Right. It'd be nice, and I'd have a piece of straight pipe from here, from the elbow to the, in other words, it'd be nice if you just put this direct to the elbow. Unless you cut an elbow short and then put it on.
I mean, I could cut this bell off.
Yeah.
I can't do it back here because he's got an exhaust hanger back there.
Right.
So that complicates things.
Well, if I already have to get a flex, why don't I just get another elbow? Is this usable, you think, or is it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, then cut that. Worst case, you'll weld it to it.
Well, that was my plan.
Yeah.
That's why I marked it. I was gonna cut it here, the pipe, this one
Right.
up here. You want a 2-inch overlap.
Yeah.
But then there's not enough room for a clamp. So I was gonna take that short pipe, weld it in here.
Yeah. No, I would just cut that right there, put that in the muffler, either clamp it or weld it. I guess at that point,
No,
still
you
enough room
can-
for clamp.
You could clamp. It's
Yeah.
better to clamp it than you can take it apart.
Yeah. All right, just cut this part off, put the muffler on clamp, longer piece of straight, and then you're good. I gotta go up there anyway so I can get a piece of flex for it.
And you want to get stainless on this.
Yeah.
That does.
Well, truck equipment has that just laying on a shelf.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just trying to make less joints.
Alrighty, everybody, I just got back from the store. Had to run up to truck equipment and get a piece of flex pipe for the 359. While I was out, Chris went ahead and brought Orwell inside. Right before I left, I went ahead and worked with Chris to basically sort stuff around. Elaine was sitting over here behind me where Orwell is. So we got Elaine spun around and backed into the shop. We have to figure out what we're gonna do with the injectors with this thing because Chris is pretty confident some of the injectors are bad. We talk about that there in a minute, but Yeah, so Elaine's going to be sitting waiting on injectors potentially for a little while. They're kind of rare, and if I don't get them from elsewhere, they got to come from Cummins, meaning I have to have them made. So there's a lead time with that. Could be a considerable amount of time. Either way, there's other stuff to do with the truck. It's just, there's that. The giant elephant in the room, of course, is Orwell. That's going to be obviously a much bigger job, hopefully reasonably quick. That's one thing with Caterpillar, you can get parts from them quick. Worst case, 2-3 days, regardless of how rare it is, they'll get it. Might be a couple of days, but you get it. Cummins, yeah, that's a problem. Either way, the tires, the steer tires, I should say, are off the 359. They're over at Pomps. They're going to go ahead and get installed and spun bounced. So that should be back tomorrow. We'll get this exhaust put on. I'm not going to lie, it sounds pretty badass with the exhaust completely missing, but he wants that mini muffler on there so it'll tone it down a little bit. What you doing, grinder burnouts?
Not gonna lie, that kind of hurts. This is a custom exhaust.
There you go. What this material is, it's old conveyor belt. I use it often for chains. You've got two chains that are rubbing on each other, stick some of this in there. What we're doing is making isolators between the bracket that holds the pipe up and the bracket that holds the pipe on the cab. Well, we level it with the cab. To this direction, this way you can go by sight, and it's level with the cab, because the cab's down too.
Yeah, it was all, you can see it now.
Yeah.
The top needs to come forward.
But yeah, so the stack lines of the cab, that's perfect, and then the side to side, that don't change. The rear airbags are air down because the front end is sitting on jacks, and when you let the airbags down in the back of the truck, over time it fades. It kind of does this shoving motion where it shoves the truck forward about 1.5 to 2 inches. So you don't want to slide off the jacks and create an issue, so you want to dump the bags. So we let all the air out of the system, which of course, this has air ride cabs. So the cab's laid back, the ass is laid back, and the nose is on jacks. Kind of hard to level a truck when it's crooked.
All right, now can you just stand back there and just eyeball it with the cab?
Yeah. Top's got to go forward. As far, yep, right there.
Right there?
Right there.
It had been calibrated by top members of the state and federal Department of Weights and Measures to be dead on balls accurate.
Like I said, the airbags are down, front tires are missing, but it's at about ride height. You had to actually take the tires off with the truck jacked up, and then we set it down on the stands. So what we're doing is just eyeballing off the cab, because if the cab airs up, it'll take the stack with it. This way, you would assume truck's sitting level, the cab will ride level. If the stacks are crooked off the cab, even if they're crooked from not being level, if they're level with the cab, it'll at least look right.
Dead on, balls accurate.
It's an industry term.
This angle, side to side, this way, that way, has to be done by the level.
These are loose, but might have to jiggle them.
Yeah. There you go. More?
Yeah.
Going north of the dirt line on the stack.
Yeah, well, it really needs to because I spaced it up there, but I want this somewhat level without getting real crazy up there. Remember, he hauls grain.
Yeah.
As long as he ain't up above his horn, well, there's the horns. That's probably good.
Well, he's well south of his antenna.
That's probably good.
Shoot, that looks much nicer just like that. It did look crooked when it first showed up.
Yeah, he pointed
just
that
there.
out. He said it just got kind of thrown on there because he got excited. Punk kid in me still gets me once in a while too.
Well, it's a cool little truck. I found one like it that I'm interested in, but damn it, Orwell, you're spending my money. Might have bought another truck. Might have been a mistake. It might have been good. I don't know. I guess Orwell made that decision.
What you fail to realize though, that's not your money, that's his money.
Yeah.
He's proving the point.
That truck certainly called me on that one, didn't he? Don't mind that noise in the background. That's Orwell still hissing air. Yeah, now that we got a truck that doesn't leak air hardly at all, now when you want the air to all drain out and dump the bags in the back, takes a while. Oh, that bottom one.
You got another freeform, right?
Oh, the flat one? Or you want the, oh, preform? Yeah, I got one more.
They're just easier.
Yeah. You done under here, right?
Yeah. I hope so.
Man, these must have been to catch me out when they were brand new. Oh, from the floor drain?
Yeah, too far away, just let it go.
That's just real quick with sticking this on there.
Real quick twice.
Got a shut-off valve in the middle.
Yeah, but
That one's gonna be a hard one to get fast.
yeah, but this is still gonna be coming out
Yeah.
that way. See how bad it gets.
Other than him. Oh, that's tight enough. I'll work the throttle to get it cranked.
Are you sure it's not gonna take off and run through the back wall?
Well, just bump it once, yeah. Garrett. Brake should be set.
It's just wrong. Ready?
Yep. Well, it definitely ain't the air compressor.
Started feeling good for a minute, and then look what happened.
Wow, look at that go. Well, it was worth a try. The only way to absolutely for sure know it's not the compressor or is the compressor is to bypass it exactly as we did. As you can see, it's still getting compression from something. The turbo doesn't spool up near enough to make any boost, so it's not like it's pushing charge air into the water. In fact, it would be the other way around. It would be pushing the water into the charge air, which is what it was doing when the aftercooler was bad a while back. The only other thing making compression is the engine itself. Although this time it took a lot longer to make that than outside this morning. But ain't no getting around it, boys and girls. Orwell is hurting. So we'll come back tomorrow, start tearing it down, and see what we have to replace. Anybody want to take bets on whether the head's cracked?